Thanks for, agreeing to hop on this interview. And first things first, we'd like to know you, before tech. Let us know a little bit about you.
Okay, basically my name is Samin, as you rightly pronounced. Um, before tech, actually, I would say a lot of my career, it's majority of my career is tech, but I did train officially as a physician assistant at the university. But whilst I was there, I was still doing tech actually. So there's not much to say about my life before tech, I would say. Unless of course you want to talk about my infancy, which you probably wouldn't be interested
Talk
in.
about what?
You wouldn't,
What did you
unless of
say?
course you want to talk about, unless of course you want to talk about my infancy, which I
No, not
suspect.
really, not really, not
Yeah,
really.
yeah.
Yeah.
So um, I began I got interested in tech very early. I think somewhere in high school, although I really didn't own my own computer until I completed. So that's in 2012 or so. Yeah. So it's really a lot of my life since then has been tech. Yeah.
Okay, okay, cool. So so if that's in high school or you were into tech, and did you do
Yeah.
sorry, go
Sorry.
on.
Yeah, in high school, I was into tech, but I didn't own my own computer. I was a member of a computer club. We used to go on regular sessions. We met and we discussed IT stuff. I really liked IT very early. Yeah, but I didn't own my own computer and I couldn't program at the time. Actually, I did hear of programming through one of those sessions, heard
Okay.
of Linux, Ubuntu, and different operating systems. So that was really my first exposure to tech. Um, and so yeah, so my high school was quite tech. This one I
Okay.
wasn't yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't doing anything IT in for formal this one. I was a science student. We were doing biology and those things. We didn't do ICT. Though
Oh, okay.
they were I do remember they wanted to implement elective ICT and I was quite interested in it, but it never happened. So I did biology. Yeah.
Okay. So at what point then did you get that first laptop? And then what how did you start the journey, right? You said you had interest in um tech stuff, but you didn't have a laptop as at that time. At what age was that? What age?
I think at the time I was 19, I think, yeah.
19.
In 2012, yeah, I was 19. Yeah.
Okay. Then
If
do you want to share how you got your laptop and then how you started learning how to code? Share that experience with us.
Oh, it wasn't really a laptop. It was a system unit. It was actual desktop.
Okay.
It was, yeah. It's a Siemens laptop. I don't know if you know. No, it's not Siemens. It's forgotten the name. Fujitsu or something. I think it's a German company or a Japanese company. They used to make laptops. Fujitsu or something. Yeah. I remember that laptop. It was a Pentium laptop. I remember I had to sell my phone to buy that laptop. I think, and I got a monitor. I think a friend of mine, helped me get it cheaply. So I didn't really start programming with it. I was mostly just playing like Prince of Persia, like PS6, and also doing a couple of what's the name? Other stuff like Office and those things, right? Um, there was a lot of like vibes and those things around tech at the time, but I was looking for ways of like how to make good use of my time. But at the
Okay.
same time, I remember I did quite well in my WASI. So I, typically a science student does well, like obvious medicine. So I was trying to
Yeah.
get I was yeah, I was trying to get into the university to do medicine, and I failed one. I was awaiting. The second one I failed again. So at the time, I figured that no, maybe I should spend more time like in the IT sector that I'm already in, playing it. So I managed to make some savings and I bought up a more powerful machine. I think it was a Duo, Intel Core 2 Duo desktop, again desktop.
I
And
was going
I
to
got a
ask you, was
monitor
it a
that had a
desktop?
speed.
I was going to ask you, was it a desktop this
Yeah,
time around?
yeah, it was a desktop again.
Oh,
So I have a very long lab of desktops, and I still work with one, a Mac Mini actually. By the way, back to the topic. So I remember asking myself what I can really get into, and out of curiosity, once I visited a friend in Kumasi. I was in Kumasi at the time, and when I was coming back, I saw a couple of books, those used books that they usually import. They are being on sale.
yeah.
So out of curiosity, I picked one of them called C Programming Language. It's a very popular book I learned later on, but at the time I was completely ignorant about what the book was about. So I the book is even around. Yeah, I cannot bring it. I would have shown you. I liked playing with it. So it took a long time for me to be able to compile the first example in the book. But as I tried, I managed to get it to work for the first time. With the help of course, with my at the time was Nokia Express Music. It's a phone. Android wasn't as popular at the time,
Yeah.
so I was using Nokia Express Music. I don't know if you know that phone. It's a pretty
I
nice
don't.
phone,
I
anyways.
don't.
Yeah. Yeah. So typically, the way you get internet connection out of the phone, if you don't want to go to the internet cafes, there's a software system called Nokia PC Suite. It's a Nokia software that comes like if you install on a Windows machine, then you can tether your internet connection from your phone onto your system units,
Okay.
um, onto your desktop. So it was a really nice thing. I didn't have money to buy a modem, and that hack actually quite kind of worked well. And over time, I got good at the basics. I managed to get through the book for a while. It was a very hard book actually to read because it's C, of course,
So
and the
you
fact that
read
I was
that
able to,
book? You read that book on your own?
yes, yeah. I learned to program with that book on my own with very little help online because I didn't really know how to like search for. I wasn't aware of like Stack Overflow and those things.
Okay.
Although I remember sometimes you get some help from this, but I don't really take note of those sites. And there is a site called about.com. I don't know if you know that site. They had some nice programming tutorials. There's a site called cprogramming.com. There's a very nice guy there called Alex Allen. He used to put out a lot of interesting guides on C. So together with those things, I was able to get through the book, reach some parts. I didn't finish the book actually. Yeah. And then through Talks with Friends, I got some other another book called Getting Started with C++ or something from a guy whose friend was at Garden City University. So I copied the book from his laptop. And over time, I managed to start making friends on Facebook. I got a friend who I'm still in touch with who is in the UK right now. We work on a project together. So like basically my journey was quite brutal, I would say. And the fact that I was able to like persist and go through this, actually, I still can't believe I did it. Yeah, so by I think 2013, I was almost good with programming. I was already even learning Java at the time, and also okay with C++, and I was beginning to play with Android development. So basically, that's really how I started. It's not sexy, but yeah.
So you, from what I heard, you started with C, C++, and Java. So as at 2013, you have covered some parts of these programming languages.
Oh yeah.
And
Actually, I
and okay. So at that time, were you able to work with it? Like, did you get jobs with that skill, the skill that you had as at that time?
not at all. Actually, I never got a job until I think in 2016. So I programmed from 2013 or 2012 for no job.
Okay,
Um, I did get a job in an internship opportunity in 2014, right when I was about to go to the university.
okay,
At the time, I was already almost good with programming. I knew jQuery, like the very ancient version of Angular, some HTML, CSS. I was quite well out of Android, and I could build tiny Android apps.
okay,
Big ones, following some courses on lynda.com actually. So by that time, I was pretty kind of like a seasoned senior developer, right? So right when I was about to go to the university, I was wondering because and the story I forgot to tell, I ultimately decided to get into tech full time. So I applied to Kane University. I did computer engineering. I got it, but my family will feel they say I'm not going to get a job, so it's a waste of time. And so I was forced to, apply for another, university, and I decided on physician assistantship at
okay.
UHAS. Yeah, so I got computer engineering at Kane University actually, but I couldn't go because family didn't agree. So I got what's the name? Physician assistantship at UHAS. And just when I was about to go, I I began, I got caught in two minds. I was thinking maybe I shouldn't just go back to school again, just go find a job. So I actually put it into action. I applied for a company somewhere in North Carnegie area,
Okay.
um, and they were a software agency. I applied for internship, and they accepted me. So I got the acceptance and to go do like internship. But I thought it through a lot, and I figured that many people don't get the idea of programming and software and stuff. They just see me as somebody just pressing computers for no reason. So that kind of negativity alone really puts me down, and there's no way that I'm going to make money from this job enough to rent my own place and be a bit independent. So I'd rather just go to school and be away from their prying eyes. So that's what I did. I accepted the admission offer at UHAS and I went there. But over
So
there, I never stopped programming. I continued.
so you didn't continue the internship period.
Yeah, I turned it down. Yeah.
Oh, okay, and then you
Yeah,
went back to
I
school.
turned it down. Yeah, I went to school again. So
Okay,
that
so
was,
tell
I
me,
think, after 2 years.
and you went to school for how long? 3 years, right?
After 4 years.
4 years. So within that 4 years, were you still like learning your own coding stuff and trying to build things for yourself?
Of course, I think it was one of the most intense period of my life in terms of programming. And I most of the time got behind in class because I wasn't paying too much attention to curriculum, my school curriculum. And I don't regret it one bit. I think it was a good decision for me. I built a couple of stuff. I built an app for school, our school, an Android app. At the time, I was mostly doing Android stuff. Yeah. So I left behind C, C++, and those since I was doing only Android. So I built my first major app, Skido. It was for fetching news item like sharing them on campus, and I tried to make it better for people to get their schedules and those things, but I couldn't win out over WhatsApp and other means of communication. And one thing that I built I focused a lot of my time on back in school, I think was how they call it an app called Yankasa. It was a chat app. It could what's the name? It could do video calling, text messaging, voice calling, everything. Again, I failed to specialize it, but I did build it in full. It worked fine. I think the source code is still on GitHub, I suppose. Yeah. So that app also took a lot of my time. And another thing too, I think I also joined the Standard App Challenge and MTN App Challenges. I think I at the MTN App Challenge, I won most promising developer, and I think the Standard App Challenge, I won it. I won. I
I
think
see.
I got a
That
ton of money at the time. Yeah, yeah. I bought
that's
an
a
app called
great.
Zelos.
Sorry.
Yeah, I built an app called Zelos, expense management app, and I won the challenge. I got some money, but I never got to make the app like production ready.
Okay.
In hindsight, I didn't have the entrepreneurial spirit to do that. It was early enough that I could have won some market share from apps like Expensify and those expense tracking apps, but I never got to productionize that app too. So yeah, I had quite a lot, and this is even just the tip of the iceberg. Actually, I got my first job in school, first German contract with a German contractor, made some ton of money in euros. I think
Hey,
even today,
I
it's still a lot
see.
of money.
Very, very important.
Yeah, I made
So I want you
yes.
to tell me after school, so after that 4 years in school, so that 4 years should be what year was that when you completed as university?
I left high school. I left university in 2018, I suppose. Yeah.
2018. So let's say okay, so from 2018 to now, um, what has been the progress? And most importantly, I want to know the challenge, right? Because I'm sure after school, right now you're a full-time developer, right? So I'm sure after school
Yes.
you kind of like started to look for engineering roles, right? And I want to share that experience with us.
Oh yeah. I was pretty lucky. After school, I even had to abandon a company who wanted me to come and work with them to go and work with another company who wanted me to work with them. So I didn't have any difficulty finding a job. So just the very month we graduated, I was already working with that company called what's the name? Working IT something something. Run by this guy. You should know him, Stefan. A damn tech guy or something. That's his.
So yeah, yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
should know
yeah.
Steph.
Yeah, I know him. I know
That
him.
tall German guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So some backstory to it was in school 2017 thereabout. I went to one Deaf Congress event. I actually left home, traveled all the way to Accra for that event. Um, I think yeah, and over there I met Stefan. I gave a talk on networking. So Stefan took my contact and said reach out after this one. So yeah, I think it's one of the lessons that well, if any junior engineer is watching, they have to involve themselves in the community. I think Dev Congress really, really was a place that gave me some kind of a sense of community, a sense of like purpose. Like I got to finally realize that yeah, there's a community of people like me who do this thing, and it's not only like a few French people doing it. Typically, when you're in tech, you are seen as somebody with no other options. It is right.
Mhm.
So basically, I didn't have any difficulty getting a job. So I got my first job at that company and moved on to trade and another company which shut down unfortunately a few months later. And then I joined another company and then I joined M Pharma. Spent some time there before I finally left and found a remote gig. Um, I think the challenges I faced, if I'm to be very honest, they aren't many in terms of like getting a job. and those things. But the real challenge I have faced is maintaining motivation and inspiration to wake up and work. And got to a point where nearly everything died. Getting up to work was difficult. A person that used to set alarm to remind myself to sleep, like I didn't have any desire to program again. So I don't know whether it's a period that everybody has to go through. Maybe it was a burnout or something. It took a long time before I was able to recover from it. And now I'm back. I feel like writing
Do
code is
you
fun
do
again for
you do you
me.
want to share a little bit about that experience, how you got back, and when you were in that state where you didn't feel like waking up to come and code? Apparently, this is my first time hearing from like someone that I'm talking to saying this, that they 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 had this is more of like a syndrome, and then they wake up and they don't want to code, or they don't want to take their laptop. This is my first time, so I'd like to, you know, hear more about that, how you dealt with it in order to come back.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I would say I would really say that I didn't do anything special. And I was losing hope that I really not be able to come back to like coding as I used to. But because I had a job, the requirement for me to wake up and do work kept me going, I would say, but it wasn't really fun, right? I always try to do the bare minimum and find something different to do. But over time, I started like learning some new other tech, new other programming languages, with the more technical stuff. So those things spiced me to try to implement and play around them, and the vibe came back again. Um, and I think one of the reasons too probably is because I got really interested in economics and history and those other stuff that are completely unrelated to technical stuff. And those were taking a lot of my time. I spent a lot of my YouTube this one watching these videos from past economists, reading blog posts by economics, reading about like empires and those things. I think that also counts as why like my interest in programming fell. Um, Now I've accumulated a lot of knowledge about this stuff. No doubt it was a useful endeavor. Um, but I'm back to coding, and I feel like coding almost every day. Yeah, and I don't feel like any tiredness or anything, and I don't have to force myself to code anymore. Yeah, it
Okay,
just comes natural.
that's great. So you also mentioned about you talked about community, right? If you watch my previous videos, I mean my last two videos, I I said in the video that I would always talk about community with anyone I interview, because that's what like I stand for. I believe that pro I believe that programmers should always have this, even not a whole coding community, have a coding friend as a programmer in order to share ideas and stuff with how best you can implement stuff. So I want to know from you, how has communities, I mean, tech community help you in terms of your, engineering career?
Yeah, of course, first it's like basically it gave me my exposure to like the industry as to how it is. Um, it's very important that like you understand the industry you work in. I didn't understand it at all. I by finding the tech community, I got to understand the industry well, like various rules and all of that. And also, I saw a lot of job posting on Dev Congress that gave me a lot of motivation to oh yeah, I didn't make a bad choice, because I was still doubting myself somewhere in 2017 whether I'm doing the right thing. But Dev Congress being one of them, it gives me the feeling of, oh yeah, I'm at the right place. I also found Hacker News early. And so I read a lot of the blog posts. I found Hacker News even before I found the Congress, probably. And all of these communities gave me a sense of like identity, right? Now I could call myself a software engineer and not feel like I don't have any identity. I don't have anything like I just wake up, you know, hope for someone to give me a contract and I will eat, right? And I could stay focused on the thing without any fear that like, oh, my time is like I'm wasting my time, right? Um, of course, I was doing physician assistantship. It's a healthcare course. It's a job is not very hard if you want to work even in the private sector. Maybe not pay is not as great, but like it's not hard to get a job as a physician assistant, right? So
Yeah.
the pressure to focus more time on these things, like all of them disappeared. I had very good grades in high school. So after getting those nice contracts with those gentlemen and also the Standard Art Challenge and all of that, um, I could have just said, let me just go do this thing. But I had built the identity of a programmer, and through these communities is how I build identity. I think that's the most important thing, in my opinion. All other things just follow it. Once you have that identity, it is what you really need to be able to build a career come around, like to build a career in an industry. If you don't have that identity, you always treat it as like a low priority thing, like something takes priority, and you always try to, do something that you do more. And I've seen this among a lot of friends that I try to help get into coding. They never were able to because they always like move to something different the moment they find something better. They will use the coding as a backup or something, right?
Yeah.
And I
I
didn't really
I
push
also
too
have
much.
I also have a lot of friends with such, way of life. Yeah, so you mentioned you used to build mobile apps and stuff. Is that what you
But
still
but
do?
but let, but let me ask you something. Let me ask you. So for you
Okay.
to tell me something about like tell me how important you find communities because it seems to
How?
be something that you really care about.
Yes.
Tell me about your views on communities, like why it's important.
Yes. So for me, it's important because that's how I started, right? So I I didn't go to school to study software engineering, right? Right after secondary school, I had an internship, right? And in this internship is where I learned the basics of everything, right? So I started my internship, I did Python there, and my basics of Python depend on deep. I would say right now, um, I learned everything from that internship. I don't know what I could like if it wasn't that internship. I don't know how good I would be with Python right now, right? And over there, the people were good, and that was how come I got introduced to Dev Congress as well. My internship happened at Nest. I know the Dev Congress guys, most of them, you'll find them in Nest, right? So I met them there. There were companies that I didn't work in at Nest, but then I had a chance to communicate with their developers. So I had that like developers around me. Do you get me? I have all these developers around me. I'm like, yo, if I was supposed to, when I completed school, high school, let me put it this way. When I completed high school, I started learning PHP. And that was because I was building a personal website where I could send a personal website which has a contact form where I could send out an email. But then I needed to get like find how I could actually send that email. And I went online, searched for it, and it gave me PHP code, which I didn't know it was PHP. Like I was just doing stuff. You understand? I picked that code, put it in my project, trying to understand what the code does and all. When I had an internship, I went there, showed them this is what I'm trying to do with PHP to send an email from my contact form. And they're like, yo, okay, you know what? We'll show you Python so that you can just put it in Django and it's easier for me that than trying to just write an HTML file, put in PHP somewhere and trying to do stuff. So I believe that my beginning stage of programming came by the help of a community. Honestly, that's how I feel. So I'm always like community, community, community.
That's true. Yeah, very important. Yeah. I really appreciate this perspective. I never had a chance to work at a place like Mess. I guess uh, probably maybe if I heard of Mess before going to university, probably I would have gone. Maybe Mess would have given me a greater sense of community, and then
Yeah.
maybe I would be. So that really means I didn't go to university, right?
Sorry. No.
You didn't go to.
I eventually did it. Like I didn't go, right? Because right after my internship, they gave me a job offer over there. And then after 2 years, I applied to another company, which was Kudigo, and I also spent 3 years there. And after I got another job in the States, and I'm working there. Easy. So the motivation to go back to school. So I'm trying to do like online courses, short courses, the certificates and all that. That's what I'm working on currently. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So you work for a remote company now, right?
Yes, I work for a remote company now. Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Now I have to do that. I can ask for loan when I need it. That's true. Actually, very, very nice, very nice background. I think I'm actually proud that somebody has been able to put something like this off. Typically, I advise people to go to the university because people just sit against you for unreasonable reasons. So it's always good to just have a degree. If you can go through the uni without too much stress, probably get it. But I'm very happy to hear that it's not as important as I actually thought. And it's strange because for me, nobody has ever asked me about
Yeah.
my degree before. It's just a line on my resume. I've lied and nobody would care. It's really crazy. I've had like about 4 jobs now, I think. I don't know. My current job probably they verified it. I have no idea because they requested for some information like police report and those. Maybe they verified that one. I don't know. But yeah, nobody has ever asked me your degree. Where is it? People just give you take home. If you're able to do it, join this
Yeah.
interview. I really hope this trend becomes more common than
Yes, exactly. That's like for me, nobody has ever asked me for a degree or so. I just show them what I have done and what I can do. But then yet still, like you
Mhm.
said, if you have the opportunity to go to the university, you should grab it. Like you should go and at least have, if you think you're not going to learn anything there because you can learn how to code on your own, you just get a degree. You might not know what would happen in the future.
I know. It's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I've interviewed you. You also interviewed me. That's cool. Do you have like any last words to say to anyone who is yet to get into tech and just need like let's say 2 lines of two sentence from a professional developer like you? What would you tell such a person?
Um, I don't know. I'm not really a great person to ask for advice. I would be
No, not
wary of
an
anybody
advice.
takes.
Your opinion.
Yeah, I
It's not an
just yeah,
advice.
kind
Like
of yeah. Yeah, it's just I'm just giving a disclaimer and a warning that when you're listening to me, you have to be careful. So basically, just some kind of honesty, right? I think just one is enough. If you want to get into tech, just put all your 2 feet. Don't try to be playing it safe and those things. Do it well. Make it the most important thing that you want in your life. The first thing that you prioritize. Everything comes second to it. The dates, the movie nights, the football games. That's your current job that you are doing with switch. Everything should come second. to the tech career that you want to switch in, and try and identify as a tech person, even if you're not yet doing it. With that alone will give you all the motivation that you need to sustain the pressure that will come as you try to transition. I think what I have for any new person entering, it's really just my 2 cents, not tested, nothing, just personal anecdote. What really helped is really just make it the most important. If you want to be a tech person, you become a tech person. You don't become the person who wants to become a tech person, right? You have
Yeah.
to prioritize tech. You have to make it your life, right? You have to make everything come second to it, even your job, right? And that means that if your job is taking too much time, you have to find a job that takes less time, even if it means less pay, so you can focus more on the tech. Because the idea is ultimately you're going to transition over anyway. So there's no reason making any sacrifices or elsewhere when you know that like you are making the effort to move on to tech into tech. The problem is many people they want to get tech, but they have their one leg here and one leg in another field. They are trying to play it safe, so many other stuff.
I
So
think
it
I
makes
think
it
the
very
reason why
difficult to succeed.
I think the reason why most of them do that, especially my friends who would reach out to me, oh, I want to learn how to code. You send them a video to watch and you won't hear from them in the next, say, 4 months, and they'll come back again. Oh, Fortune, I want to start this time around. I'm serious. I think such people, they are looking for quick money and they just heard that tech like rewards a lot, but they don't want to put the time into to learn how to actually code. What do you think about that?
Mm-hmm. Probably makes sense, I would say. That probably makes sense to me if you ask me. Many people they don't have the desire to become tech. The only thing driving them is money. I'm not saying that money on its own is bad. It's just that it's never insufficient motivator to switch a career,
Yeah,
because then at any point in time, as you are trying to transition, especially in the early stages, there will likely be other things that will pay more than your early beginner skill. So you always find yourself in a situation where you have to make economic different choice between, oh, what will I earn if I spend more time to do tech when I can get maybe 2,000 or 1,005, right? That's the first problem with like letting money being the main motivator. You hear somebody makes 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, or even those making 300 and 200 this a month, and you want to make the same money, and now you are driven into it, but you realize that, oh, you just as a junior developer you want unpaid internship, like nobody's going to pay you, your job is not going to pay you 3 months, 4 months. How do you stay if like the only thing what is money? So the initial stage, it becomes a barrier. If the only thing motivating you is money, the initial stage becomes a barrier. You can't just
yeah,
go through it. Remember, I did program for about from around late 2012 to somewhere around 2016 before I got my first paying job. That's a long time, right?
yeah.
That's
That's
like
a
four
lot.
years.
That's
And I
4 years.
and I-
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and I persisted doing all of this. Why would I do it if the only thing driving me was money? I would have quit and found a different thing making me money. But if it's not only money, you just want to get into tech, you want to become a tech person, you want to become a software engineer, or you want to become maybe a product person or whatever, that's the accomplishment. The money becomes a side effect of what you want to become. All right. It's
yeah,
very important people keep that in mind. When you say this, people would think, oh, you are lying, it's money. To be very honest, if it's only money, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing tech. And probably there are other things that will fetch me more money than tech, but I'm still in tech anyways. So you have to, it's a delicate balance, but you have to find ways of motivating yourself to become something to get to tech way beyond the money that you get out of it. Actually. I really hope somebody finds this useful.
Yeah, it's something they should listen to and advise themselves, especially those who are yet to enter or those who have started with the HTML and CSS, you know. So I have one more
Yeah,
question, and then you can also ask me any question, and then we'll end it.
yeah,
So
sure.
just tell us, how's your day like? You are currently a remote engineer, right? How's your day like from morning to night, you know? Can you care to share that with us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my day as a remote developer, it has changed over a long period of time. Being somebody who has worked remotely throughout my life, with very few break where I worked in office. I would say I'm a full-time remote person. Um, these days, my day is a bit unstructured than it used to be. But I try to always work a lot early and never work again the rest of the day. Although if I feel like doing something maybe later in the day, I'll do it. So my basically is this: wake up as early as possible, 5 a.m., 4:30 a.m., 6 a.m. I think you shouldn't be in bed by 7 a.m. as a remote engineer, especially if your team is on the same time zone as like you or close, right? So by 6:30, you're already down. I'm already down. Okay, let me just talk about my routine actually. So by 6:37, I'm already here. This is my desk actually. That's why I work. Um, it's just an office actually. There's nothing in here. I'm already here. I brew my coffee. I get some water in my bottle, put it here. I I make a list of what I want to accomplish for the day. I do some random browsing online briefly if I feel like it. Like I can use and those things just to tame any drive to go back once I start working. Um, and then once I'm done with like the list of things I want to accomplish and for the day, I try to rate how much time each of them will take. Um, I use a Pomodoro system kind of system. I don't strictly abide by it. I only use it to get into the flow. So I have 30 minutes for each Pomodoro session. So I try to break each task into like how many Pomodoros it will take, and then I'll estimate how long I'll have to sit to work. I have a standing desk, so I can move it up if I'm tired.
You buy me
Now,
one, right?
I come again.
You're gonna buy me
I'll
one.
buy you one.
Yeah.
No worries. Yeah. It's I think it's a really nice investment actually. So
We got
yeah.
that in Ghana here.
Now basically all yes, one guy was selling it. I think I lost his contact. It's a very nice desk. I bought it also around I don't think it was more than 2,000 cities.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was before the exchange rate crisis. So I don't know where we are now. Anyways, and so I started work. I started work pretty much like I I I used to always get some white noise, but these days I'm used to not putting any white noise. I just put anything. Put phone in do not disturb mode, no calls coming, not cannot be interrupted. I keep my phones away as much as possible. I lock my office door and I get to work. Of course, by this time my coffee had finished brewing. I get some and I start to work. I started my Pomodoro timer. And as I finish the tickets, I mark them so I know the progress I'm making. I try to break the tickets down to as part of the work process. I have a VI NT page ready where I put my thoughts about what I'm working on,
Yeah.
the code, the ID on a different monitor. So
Okay.
basically, that's how like I work, and then after that, maybe by 10, 11, I'm already exhausted with thinking. So I just make myself available to team members to respond to them and also respond to like new incidents if there's a bug that we have to make hot way. Yeah, the drive to do it is strong enough that I don't feel tired, so I do it. Otherwise, any new thing that comes in, I just use it to clarify the requirements and the features I'm working on. So the next time I sit to work, I don't need to go as a team member for, hey, what API do I have to connect if I want to do this? What did the product manager mean by this feature, etc. So I always try to use that extra time to clarify all of these tickets that I'm working on. So the next day I sit, I just get to work and write the code.
Okay.
Yeah. And by 12, 1, 2 p.m. on a good day, I'll be done, walk away from the office, get some, something to eat, play some video games, take a walk around. Later in the day, I go to the gym. After the gym, I feel tired, do nothing until late night and sleep. Just do random things like on my phone. Otherwise, find something interesting to do back here in the office. But for the most part, I don't really work in the evening. I only work like maximum intense work I do on a typical day is just 4 hours. Out of the 24
Wow.
hours, I don't work much and I know that any attempt to work extra, I'll be doing to myself. Yeah. I do read, of course.
Mhm.
Yeah. I do read, but I skip the reading because I don't think it's interesting. But yeah, I do read if I feel like it. I have an iPad that like I have books on and I have physical books too. So depending on the book I'm reading, if it's part of the plan for the day and I'm not tired, otherwise I don't really bother. Yeah. So that's just roughly how my day is.
That's
Yeah.
interesting. I like the aspect where you work in the morning, early morning, and then noon you start to do whatever you want to. Yeah, I think that's a cool approach. But then I have a question for that, right? So when you step out after, 10 or 11 in the morning, and let's say a team member wants to reach out to you, does it mean that you have downloaded your communication app on your phone, like Slack, or I don't know what channel you guys use? Do you have it on your phone where you respond to them through your phone?
Yeah. Yes. I'm always reachable. My team members are not annoying, so I've had no need to use workspaces, and they only reach out when they need me. So I'm always reachable. On my two phones, I have Slack on it, and it's the only app that can send notification to me. The rest just come as silent for the most part. So yeah, I'm reachable always, and I try to respond. If I'm in the house and they report an issue, I come back to the office to respond and work with them to resolve it. So the mode of no work doesn't mean that like I'm completely not reachable. It's just that I'm in the mode of no active focus work, right?
Okay.
Yeah, because
Okay.
yeah,
That makes sense. That
basically
makes sense.
always
Yeah.
yeah, always be reachable, always be reachable. At the very least, set expectations on like whether or not you are reachable. Maybe say, oh, within this period of time, don't reach. If you reach out to me, you won't get me. Use your Slack notification settings to communicate that, but try as much as possible to be reachable by your team members. It's really when your team member has an issue that you are the person blocking them and they send you a text that you can just clarify to them, oh, hello, yeah, oh, that API, I worked on it. It's supposed to work like this. They get back to their work. By delay them, the person get out of zone, they lose focus. By the time you come back, like it's messy, right? I know this, I know it's bad when it happens to me. So I always try to make myself reachable, and it's perfectly fine to be distracted by a team member if what they're asking for is clarification on like how to do that. Of course, it depends on your team, how measured they are in interrupting you. But if the interruption is not too much, try and learn to be interruptible to some extent. Yeah. Some people they say, oh, they hate interruptions. It makes them unproductive. They lose focus. But your coworker is also losing focus. The company it's not about like what each individual can accomplish. It's about what all of you can accomplish together.
Yeah.
And so you shouldn't only focus on what you are working on. You should try also make it possible that you are not blocking somebody from also accomplishing what they are supposed to accomplish, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no point shaping your futures alone, and somebody's future is like because you are busy shaping yours. It doesn't make any sense.
Got it. Got it. Got it. Yeah. So that's it.
Yeah.
Very cool information you've shared with us. And if you have any question you would like me to answer to, I'm available. Else, then we'll call it an end.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to ask you, how do you maintain focus while you work? And
Sorry?
typically when you're working, typically how do you work? What tools do you use to avoid distraction, unnecessary distraction? And how do
Okay.
you stay focused?
So the team I work with, there's one thing that they do so well is we if we always schedule meetings one day ahead. So that's
Mhm.
like in a general standard in terms of CEO, CTO, direct manager. We kind of like set, let's say if we need to have a discussion tomorrow, the meeting is sent today. So ahead of time, I know what is going to happen in terms of communication on the top level.
Mhm.
Now, speak about my direct team work, my teammates. Uh, I have my Slack on my phone, which we communicate through. Some of
Mhm.
them have my WhatsApp, which we communicate through. So it's more of the Slack and WhatsApp. Obviously, no call because they're in a different country. So yeah. Um, so when it comes to communication, I'm easily reachable. Like you said, for me, I barely step out, so I'm most often with my laptop. So you always get me online. You would always see me online on Slack trying to answer questions and all that. But I also take the time to, stretch myself a little. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
that's fine. Yeah. All right. I think it's pretty good. That's nice to hear. Um,
Okay.
I think I got to know. Were you the one who reached out to me first? Or the one who reached out to me first? Our first
Honestly,
contact.
I still can't recall how we exchanged numbers. I don't know if it's Deaf Congress. I don't know if it's
No, I
Deaf
think
Congress.
it's link. It's LinkedIn. I think you're the one
LinkedIn.
who reached out to me.
Ooh, was it about M Pharma? I think at a point I needed a job at M
Yeah, I
Pharma.
guess.
Yes, yes,
I
yeah. Okay,
guess.
then,
Yeah,
yeah, then I reached out to you. Yeah, I reached out to you.
on LinkedIn. Yeah, and I think you asked my contact, and okay, that's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
I needed someone to, get me through the door, at that time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but
Okay, pretty good.
yeah, okay, yeah. So, man, I'm happy. I'm happy you shared all these things with us, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's it. Yeah, thank you so much, and then we'll talk another time.
Sure, sure. Thanks for having me too. Okay, bye
Yeah,
bye.
yeah. Bye bye.
HP EliteBook 8440P, and then that machine it can get very hot and burn your laps.
What would you tell a beginner who is finding it difficult in learning how to code, or someone who wants to now get into this industry of software engineering? What was like just some 2 words or 3 words you would like to tell such a person?
Okay, so one, drop out of school. That was just by the way. So it's
That's I think that drop out of school thing, like you have to have reasons to drop out. For me, I didn't even get a
exactly.
chance to drop out. I didn't even go at the first place because I had my
Wow.
reasons. You also went but dropped out because you had your reasons. You can't just listen to someone's, oh, I drop out of school.
Exactly.
So me too, I want to drop out of school. Like, it's a little more. Thanks for hopping on this call. Getting you wasn't that difficult, and I'm grateful for that. So yeah, we'll go straight to it, and then I would like you to first of all share with I and my audience a little bit about you.
Okay. So, my name is Solomon, and I would say pre-tech experience is I'm a self-taught developer, and I was in college, high school, University of Ghana. Yeah, I think it's college, yeah, University of Ghana. Studying Bachelor of Science in Education with chemistry and mathematics major. So I actually had a late admission to the university, so I was kind of having a hard time on campus. And a friend of mine was a computer science student, and one time I saw him with his project working on some logic gates and stuff. So I saw that and I was like, yo, what does this do? And he's like, oh, this I'm on the path to becoming a software engineer. And I was like, oh, okay, so how do I learn? So I asked him to send some few PDFs, like on UG when we go, mostly they give us some slides and stuff. So looking at his slides, I decided to start learning. So he gave me some resources to go through. So I watched through and I was interested. So I started learning some a few things. Yeah, few things, and
Okay.
then yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it looks like you have already given us how you got introduced to tech, right? So it was this uni guy who, gave you a little intro to what this whole computer science thing is, right? But before we still get into that, can you let us know where you are from? Yes, yeah, I think just where you're from. That would be good.
Okay. So uh, where I'm from, I would say now I'm actually a Fanti. I'm from the Central. No, I think it's Takra, the Kwisimin team. Yeah, I'm from that side,
Okay.
but we mostly based in Central region. Yeah, I was born and then raised a little bit in Takrady. Yeah, so
Okay. Okay, cool. So let's just finish. Let's end that and then start with the tech. Now, you've made it known that you got introduced by this university guy who was studying computer science. But was that the only push for you, where you saw him doing all this coding stuff and you got interested like just there, and then you started following computer science stuff, or there's
yeah,
more to
so
it?
for me, my first computer or laptop I had was when I got to the university. I never had a computer growing up. So my first introduction to computer was when I got to the university. That was when I got to own a computer. So if I had used a computer, it would be then ICT lab stuff. Then times that was when I used the computer. So my first introduction to a computer was when I was in the university. Yeah, so it was my roommate Kujo who introduced me to programming, and then yeah, I started following. He would tell me maybe there are this part A, B, C when you decide to be in a field of computer science, so you can choose. So I decided to choose software engineering, and then yeah, I started my journey from there.
So did you still completed the university with you said you were doing
I
what
dropped
course?
I
Huh?
dropped out level 300
Wait,
and I dropped out.
tell us what's behind all this dropout stuff. Why did it drop out? Let's hear that.
Okay. So me, I'm actually a past National Science and Maths quiz contestant. So yeah, I kind of have the
Oh,
head.
hey, hey, hey. What else? I didn't even know
So
this. Wow,
yeah,
that's cool.
I wouldn't say the stress I was getting from the university was something academical. It was academical, but it wasn't like on my side, like I was finding it difficult to pass exams and stuff. It wasn't that. The thing is, I was being stressed. Like I wasn't able to get into orientation and stuff. So mostly when let's say when school resumes, I would have to go and then go to the my department and then check what's going on, where are my classes and those stuff. Like I didn't know all those things, so it was stressing me out. Sometimes I would go for a class and then the class has closed. I'll go and then maybe it's about to close. Maybe I'm at the wrong location. I have to go to a different place. So I was like, no, 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 no. I'm having too much hard time over there. And also, moreover, the course I was doing, I had no passion in it. It was my dad, he wanted me to be a lecturer, and then me, I didn't want to be that. So I
But
wanted to drop out.
what did you want to be in the future when your dad asked you to, do courses that would end you up becoming a lecturer?
Okay, so for me, honestly, I wanted to be a dental surgeon.
Mhm.
I was a science student. Yeah. So I
Of
chose
course,
my
of
courses.
course, you can't be an art student to get into this math and science stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So actually, I chose my courses, and then you see, when the admissions are about to be released, you'll be prompted to make any changes if you want to. So
Mhm.
when I was going to pick my courses, I didn't inform my dad. He just gave me the money, and then I went to buy the card and then filled the form. So when they gave me that prompt, I showed him the message, and he was like, Abba, why did you choose these courses? And you know, after when you decide to go on these routes, when you are done, you have to do your masters and things, and you know you have siblings coming, and then the money we would have to channel some through my siblings to their life. So I have to make some changes. So okay, I decided to follow what he's saying. It made sense at that time, but as soon as I got to level 100, I was like, no, 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 this thing is not for me. So I wanted to drop out in level 100, but I realized when I drop out, first of all, I have to start something, and then I had nothing to start with. So I had to take my time and then plan accordingly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was when I started to develop my skills in programming. So when I was ready to start working, and then I dropped out, and then I had my first job.
What happened in terms of family when you dropped out? Was there any uh, trouble that you caused at home? They had to sack you from home, or they still allowed you stayed at home? What's up?
You, my dad does not even know I've dropped out. I dropped out. It's only my mom. My mom, I told my mom, and then um, I actually told her to keep it a secret, but she told my big sis, and then the little one after me, and yeah, it's only my mom and then my sisters who know. But as for my dad, he doesn't know. He thinks
And did he
I've
get he
graduated.
got oh he up to now he still doesn't know you dropped out of
Yeah,
school.
yeah.
Well, then we would have to find a way to hide this video from him, else you are
Oh
dead.
no, don't worry. When he finds out that I'm that kind of son that everybody trusts. They know he's responsible. He has a reason for everything he does. So yeah, when he finds out, I'll just tell him, yeah, I wasn't feeling it. So yeah, I dropped out.
Okay. Okay, cool. So now after you dropping out, you have to even no, so but then you dropped out after when you have, gained some knowledge in programming, right?
Yes,
So
precisely.
yeah, so tell me, how difficult was it getting to, starting to learn this whole programming thing, knowing how you are frustrated in school because, things were just not in your way, right? Like things were just messed up and you're trying to learn programming so that you could drop out of school, right? So tell me, how was it getting to learn how
So
to code from scratch?
I knew it was something which is going to be challenging. So I made up my mind that this thing that I'm going to do require a lot of effort, and then my mind has to be at peace, and then I have to be ready for it.
Yeah,
So yeah. So when I was in school, mostly I would spend a lot of time at the they have this place called 24/7 in Lebanon. So I